Planet is going through a period where overall it is changing very, very much for the better. However, we also know that there are many things going on this planet which, by the estimation of both of you and me, would say that it shouldn't be. And that is being forced up to the surface, it is being forced out, and then it is battling even harder to take over in plain sight. And you must have noticed that there are many, many people now who are capitulating or succumbing to forces internally which come up in them suddenly, quite suddenly. It's a cause of a lot of grief and worry and sadness for all of us, but also there's a certain clarity around it, that there are further paths now which are opening up, which fewer and fewer are on, and there are also other paths which some people are making the choice to step back into, which go further and further down the path of the old agenda, which is trying to bring forward a new agenda, which is all to do with a type of digital slavery. You're only going to see this more and more, with the line in the sand shifting and changing. More and more people will crumple and go in with that agenda that we know does not support many of the things that are healthy and favourable, because it is a war about money and survival at the base of it, because that is the language and the currency of that force which is leaving. And the near problems that we have seen since approximately 2019, right at the root, have all been about money and digital economy, despite the appearance. And that just comes up and out in different ways with different labels and different names. That agenda is about to intensify again and make another very strong bid on your personal field, on your freedom, and on the life that you live and our children. It won't be so easy this time. Of course, the usual ingredients will be there: fear and all of the stuff about if you don't do this, you can't or you won't be able to do that. And of course, you'll also see a massive dose of people trying to make you do things who normally would not be in the position of law enforcement or telling you what to do, but who suddenly weaponize or activate and start demanding that you should behave a certain way when they certainly have no right to. You have been through this before. You know what it is. And underneath all wars, there is something else which you are plugged into. And you know what that is. It's peace. It's that bedrock, that infrastructure of peace which never goes away, which at this frequency in the purification space you are plugged into. It is a clear, open brightness. And in recent reboots, I have talked a lot to you about interdimensional exit and how there's been a shift in the hell realms. We all have different layers of our being with different frequencies in them. And denser frequencies, if you were just to live there and nowhere else, it might not be a very pleasant existence. But we have all of these layers built into our personal field. Some go more slowly and are denser and resonate in a deeper, stronger way, just like a low musical note. And others are more zippy and go faster, and they're a little bit ungrounded and fizzy and sometimes electric and exciting. And we are the space in which the two opposite ends of that continuum focus together and then form and present a center of identity, which we can experience if we choose to as ourselves. when the planet shifts, then the wavelength of the Earth grid, the new Earth grid, shifts. And as it shifts, that bottom end and that top end of that frequency spectrum that your center of identity turns up on, it shifts. And for a time, there is destabilization. And it's then that you can start to feel the stuff that you had on board that you didn't really realize you had, because up to now, all of that was nicely aligned and there wasn't any particular instability to the extent or the extreme that you have just experienced it, because the planet has changed a little. And so what's happened recently is that there has been almost like a little bit of an axis wobble for every individual. And anything that's deeper down at that denser frequency end has suddenly gone whoop and come up into the center of identity very strongly. And if you are anchored and strong in yourself, you might have a big freak out, but you find your equilibrium and you're able to stay on course. But of course, what also happens is that there's a big freak out, and some people don't stay on course. Their whole universe fractures, and then they usually go back into earlier narratives, earlier identities, or even denser frequencies that are available to them in their near vicinity, and they swap paths. And this is what we've seen recently in the world around us. Those of us who are on that positive frequency pathway, while we are becoming more stable in the shit, others are becoming more unstable in the shit. And for them, they are then jumping between different pathways. There is mental instability. There can be sudden difficulties which carry them in very unexpected difficulties. And part of these times is all about really dealing with that and finding a way to keep your equilibrium while still being very affected, which is hard, right? But the great news is that if you really are on a certain frequency, however upset you get, or however extreme things happen for you and to you, you can't lose that pathway. It is absolutely impossible, because it is already your key note. And what happens for you when that wobble or that shift happens in the hell realms is actually something very magical. The fifth and the sixth element start to fuse together very strongly. So all the six elements in you start to form a new material reality, a little bit like a little island comes up in the sea. That Mother Earth connection gets stronger. Your bioelectrics power up, and you can anchor even more pure love, which to start off with means that you have a lot going on in your system. But you actually access the next stage, or you begin to, of reality in the shit. And so you're going to have this very strange feeling of walking around like a really foreigner in a strange land, observing, watching, seeing everything happen. You've always thought probably, how the hell did I sign up for this? But even now, you are going to go a step further with that, and you're going to be able to feel and see it at a much further distance, and know and see what is coming up, and just understand, right, so that's the next step that's coming now in for the world at large, even though you are seeing it and not necessarily being so much a part of it as you think. It's affecting you more and more, but in reality, less and less and less. And the emotions can be stronger and even more direct sometimes, but that's because that foundation at that new, much higher level for you is stronger, and you are more anchored And so, in a way, there's more safety for you and more physical component to register it all because you are established on a different frequency within the shit, but not of it.